Hi, I'm back. Okay, as promised, this is a video about our ideas our own. And I'm kind of amazed by these cards because they never failed to impress me or even surprise me. So I got the devil card for this question. Here it is. Okay, so I recommend to get a little deeper understanding about some of what I'm going to be talking about, to watch my video on dreams and daydreams and fantasies, I think it's called. Okay, so obviously when you get the devil, when you're asking whether our excuse me, whether our ideas are our own, it's no, they're not. Why? Okay, religiously or from an atheistic point of view, you take your pick. We're in equal trouble uh, when we say when we try to say our ideas are our own, because firstly, I don't think we can be so conceited to say our ideas are our own. So we have to devil. Again, you'll see my previous video, you can check it out there. I'm not going to repeat everything. The devil is sitting on a cube. Now in this case, I think the devil is chaos. And we've all heard about chaos theory, and that there isn't such a thing as true randomness. Even Einstein said, if you toss the dice, you can make it roll the way you want. Or there is a pattern to randomness, even if we can't see it. So the cube in this case represents something older, okay, because cubes and rocks and steel, it can be much older than a person. A mountain, if you take a block from a mountain, or you take stone from a mountain or rocks and you craft it into a block, that mountain probably is millions of years old. So the cube represents something old, and because it's a cube, it is structure and it's governed by rules, whatever rules you might think of. Scientifically speaking, everything is governed by rules, and probably the cube is something old and much less changeable than us. So maybe it's like a universal law, like if you take, for example, the gravitational constant, it isn't something that actually changes. So these are physics laws. And the man and the woman are chained to this cube. The man is the tradition, the hierophant, the emperor. The woman is the high priestess, the consciousness, the subconsciousness and mystery, and so on. Okay, so even our traditions have evolved, but where does evolution start? Because if we don't look at this from a religious point, and we look at it from a scientific point of view, cosmological and biological evolution, where do our ideas come from? Is there some kind of law that impacts even our social structure? Okay, there are many different kinds of social structures, but what impacts it? Are our ideas the same, or are they are our ideas? And I don't think they are, because even the most inexperienced tarot reader, when they turn to the devil card, they're going to say, "Oh, well, there's trouble." Our ideas are not our own after all. And this opens an entire universe, and demons and goblets, metaphorically speaking. Because where were your ideas and my ideas 5 billion years ago? In what kind of form or shape or energy? How did it came to be here? There is a branch of scientific study that deals with the origins of things. It's it's somewhat of a cosmological study. I can't recall what it's named exactly. Maybe somebody watching this can help me out. And please tell me when you think I'm talking absolute rubbish, because I'm not a scientist. I'm just a lay with interests in science and maths and poetry. I'm not an expert. Perhaps I'm a better poet than a scientist. Okay, so no, our ideas are not our own. But where does that come in? Who's right or wrong? What ideas are good or bad? Well, if the devil is chaos, maybe chaos doesn't care what's good or bad. Because remember, the man is chained to the block. And the man represents how humanity evolves in sociological beliefs, cultural beliefs, religious beliefs. Whether you're an atheist or whether you're religious, that's where it comes from. It's governed by scientific laws. It's biological. It's cosmological. And yes, I will stop saying the same thing over and over in a few seconds. So, uh, this raises the question: how do we know if our ideas are good or bad? Um, if our ideas are not our own, then either everybody is right or everybody is wrong, or some people are right or some people are wrong. But it's not even their ideas. That's what's grim about it, because let's not forget the high priest is our subconscious, which I suppose indicates our biological evolution of the mind, perhaps, is also chained to something ancient, an ancient governing scientific law. So, does this upturn the apple cart or not? And I think we have to ask ourselves, how can something, and this is a philosophical question, not everybody has to agree with me, how can it be that even before we existed, what we would have been existed in some form, somewhere, even if it was scattered in many places across the cosmos? Excuse me. I would have put my hand in front of my mouth, but alas, I'm holding the camera. So, I think This is a difficult question because chaos has no feeling. It isn't good or bad. Because if the devil is chaos in this instance, nature perhaps, then we've run into trouble. Maybe it boils down to the most simplistic things, that is, we ought to work out with, because obviously our evolution is teaching us how to take care of ourselves. So to solve this problem, maybe we have a very simplistic answer. Look carefully at all the ideas that are out there and find out what works for you. What works for you isn't going to work for Joe or Sam or Kathy or Bob. So let's respect diversity, because I think this card also, within the parameters of this question, screams of diversity. But what is general to everybody is wanting to be healthy, hopefully, and fed and in harmony with their friends and family. But, and I spoke about this in my previous video, death, what makes us good or bad, but death, there are certain realities that we can't escape, and we try to do this all the time. You can also watch this video about what makes us good or bad. It's not exactly on topic, but you're gonna get a pretty good idea of what I'm talking about. So there is a quote that says, "Work out your own salvation with fear and trembling." And although I'm quoting from scripture here, I think it's good advice concerning this question. Because what's my salvation, or my idea of what is nice, isn't going to be your idea. But if one person gets an idea and decide to employ it in a destructive way that affects not just himself, but hundreds and thousands and millions of people, perhaps that's not a good idea. Perhaps that's chaos and entropy. And we're not working from the right point of view to make life better. Although life is not necessarily designed to be a paradise, we can make it better. So I think we'll know what is good ideas, and what are good ideas and what are bad ideas, from how we feel and how intelligent, learned people observe the impact what ideas have over a long period of time. But our ideas are not our own. It is not. And if somebody has an idea about religion and you're an atheist, maybe you should respect that, because maybe that idea is older than all your generations back to the first people combined. And maybe if somebody is an atheist, whether you're atheist or religion, let's respect each other and say these are old things, older than humanity itself, and let's respect ideas. because they're ancient. And let's not fool ourselves into saying that ideas that really don't work are good and we should keep doing them. So maybe it's all about judgment. Okay, so I'm rambling. Leave your comments and questions below. I feel I would have to make another video about this. So yes, thanks for watching. Okay, cheers.